Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Six Paths Junga back again with another reaction video. So as a matter of fact, I don't think I ever reacted to I Am Destiny. Maybe I have, but I personally cannot remember. To me, this is the first time I reacted to him. A video caught my eye. Boruto and Momoshiki have fused. And the only reason I say that is because a lot of people, not just him, but a lot of people throughout the community have believed that Boruto and Momoshiki have fused bodies. I, for one, am one of those believers. And I think I said it in one of my most recent videos. I can't remember which one it was, but I said there's a possibility that Momoshiki and Boruto's soul have fused together, which could be the end result of their little deal. A plan gone horribly wrong because obviously Momoshiki just wants Boruto's body, but obviously that's not how it's gonna go down. Now, it could be a number of things that could have activated that, including the JOUGAN awakening, but that's for another video. So we're going to be talking about the Momoshiki and Boruto deal that IKEMOTO did not continue with, which I'm kind of upset about, but not too upset because I pretty much know why he did that. It's going to be very similar to the Kawaki and Amato situation. You see, we didn't actually see Kawaki get his limiters removed, but we know obviously it happened off screen, which is why we see him in chapter 24 with his limiters off and so much more power. So I think later on we're going to get a flashback of how that went down between him and Amato. So once Momoshiki, or Boruto with his karma, once he eventually fights JURA, we're gonna see the continuation of that conversation between Boruto and Momoshiki. And I do have to say, the fact that IKEMOTO didn't finish off that conversation got me a little bit suspicious. Maybe Boruto said something in that conversation that should not be revealed yet, in addition to offering up his body. The reason it wasn't revealed yet is because he wants to save it for a later time when it's more relevant. It's kind of like a surprise. He got a surprise for us, let's just say that. So anyway, before we get into the video, I Am Destiny, he's a great Boruto content creator. He's been doing it longer than me when it comes to the Boruto content, so shout out to him. I'm gonna leave the link to his channel down below in the description, so make sure you guys go check him out. You know, drop a like. I'm gonna leave a like right now. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
Boruto and Momoshiki have now become one, as it appears like the merger has finally taken place, with the most recent chapter of Boruto TBV VORTEX seeming to confirm that, as we do see quite a major shift in the attitude of Boruto.
Yeah, it came from right here. Like, yeah, he just aura farming right here. He's literally sitting like a villain. So, like, his whole demeanor, I mean, it was already kind of like this, but you guys can see he's being a little bit more edgier than usual. Like, he's already an edgelord, but right here it's like, okay, all right, bro. And not only this, but KASHIN KOJI just telling Boruto, like, yeah, I don't like your attitude. Like, what's wrong with you? And even though he gave a sufficient reason for his attitude, people still think Momoshiki's soul may be influencing this behavior. Of course, we would need more evidence to back this up, but you know how early theories goes, it's just speculation at this point.
We're going to see a completely different Boruto from then on, which means a completely different fighting style and mannerism that Boruto will now showcase with this deal that is taking place. So what exactly is taking place regarding Boruto and Momoshiki, and where does this idea of the merger come from? The merger effect that Momoshiki and Boruto have been experiencing has been one that has been hinted towards since chapter 75, where I discussed in a previous video breaking 75. Down exactly what took place.
Oh yeah, I remember that chapter.
Brief, Boruto and Momoshiki's minds started to merge ever since Momoshiki changed Boruto's remaining DNA to enable him to come back.
And whole time, that was just a side effect of Boruto becoming 100% Otsutsuki while their souls were still intertwined. They can hear each other's thoughts, and eventually all their life experiences are merged together as well. So that's why when the karma is activated, it can instantly make you into a seasoned fighter, because all their battle experiences are embedded into the karma. So in a way, the karma acts as a catalyst for their souls to be intertwined or fused together in this case. It's just that Momoshiki is unable to resurrect in Boruto's body anymore, so that's why it really looks like their souls are intertwined, because Boruto was still allowed to keep his own body, but he still can use the power of Momoshiki as well as inherit his thoughts, battle experiences, and memories.
When Boruto was 82% done with the karma process, The remaining data that was supposed to be used for Momoshiki ended up being used for Boruto to come back to life, which means that Momoshiki could no longer resurrect. However, the main purpose of the karma was to enable an Otsutsuki to come back without the duplication of that Otsutsuki arising, which is what we see and learn through Kawaki, Jigen, and Ishiki's entire situation. So with the karma having a certain set of rules, and as we do know, there is usually one soul in one body, it appears like the karma is now attempting to do just that, to bring back Boruto to that state of equilibrium and balance, where he has one soul in one body. This is where the merger idea comes from, where Momoshiki and Boruto's identities were merged into a new and completely different one, where he will both showcase aspects of Momoshiki, but also aspects of himself, the regular Boruto. And this is what we have currently been seeing in Boruto TBV VORTEX.
And it's difficult to really grasp the concept because we never seen a situation like this. By the time Jigen became 100% Otsutsuki, Ishiki had already gained control or full control over his body. So there was no more of Jigen left in there. And Kawaki never even gotten the chance to go through that experience, because by the time it was his turn, Ishiki was already gone. And plus the karma that he has now, Ishiki's soul has nothing to do with it. Only his power remains. So Boruto and Momoshiki is like an anomaly. Therefore, we have no reference to really gauge the situation. So you can say their personalities are kind of like merging. But obviously, Boruto still seems to be in control. Or maybe that's what it seems like on the outside, because we don't know the details of the deal just yet. And I watched one of Kitomaki's videos earlier. I was actually going to do a reaction to that one, but it kind of fell through. But basically, he was talking about binding vows with Momoshiki. And if you didn't know, binding vows is JJK terminology. It's basically a contract between two things or two living people that has a set of conditions. So let's say if Boruto and Momoshiki forged a binding vow, right? Boruto would say, all right, I'll give you my body if we defeat JURA, but in return, you can't hurt none of my friends or family, you can't destroy Konoha, etc. If he agrees to those terms, obviously he has to stick by the rules or there's gonna be great consequences. And these consequences can lead to death in some cases. So yeah, it's very possible that Momoshiki and Boruto can be fused together. Sometimes Momoshiki takes control, sometimes Boruto takes control. You know, two different personalities, two different people in there. I'm just breaking down, if it is Momoshiki in there, why he's staying so calm, you know. Obviously, he would want to just cause havoc and destroy everything. But if it's some type of vow, then Momoshiki would have to keep himself in check. Probably doesn't have anything to do with this situation in particular. I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Boruto has been a character who has been quite cheeky, who has been quite sarcastic, and does have a lot of aura moments, but ever since the time skip, Boruto's aura has taken one of elegance, and it can clearly be seen in this chapter, where Boruto's mannerisms seem quite Otsutsuki-like, and to be specific, they seem quite Momoshiki-like. And this is something that we have seen, that every time
small
Boruto
sample size, but
karma a little bit
he's
more,
not lying.
He starts changing in a manner that behaves more and aligns more like Momoshiki. The first case of this was when Boruto ended up using the karma versus code. We did see that prior to that, Boruto was still joking, even around Sasuke. Even though Sasuke wasn't having any fun at all, he was still joking around with Sasuke, still maintaining that cheeky personality, being a jokey little kid, having fun with his master, even though omnipotence took place and they were hunted down and consistently on the run. But after he claims that he attempted to use the karma, which took place probably in the fight versus code, or a little while after that, we do hear from Boruto himself that he felt like he was dying. Never in the past has Boruto claimed that he felt like he was dying when using the karma. Even when Momoshiki would take control, Boruto just felt like he couldn't control his body or he was going to sleep. He didn't feel as if he was dying, which means that there was a clear difference.
Well, yeah, that is true. Or it could just be that Boruto never got an opportunity to properly explain the feeling of getting his body taken over by Momoshiki. Because by all logic, when you get your conscience hijacked like that, it can feel like you're just dying because your conscience is slowly fading away. So I mean, when that happens, it can feel like you're dying. But yeah, I see where he's going with this, because obviously that feeling that Boruto felt could lead to a bigger problem with him and Momoshiki. But if something happened, Momoshiki didn't know about it. Like, Boruto and Momoshiki did not know, because obviously when Boruto went to see Momoshiki in chapter, 25, he was all down and depressed. Like, he viewed being in Boruto's body as a curse. He said he had no way out. He was trapped there. If their soul was intertwined and Momoshiki knew about it, that could possibly be another direction he could take to take over Boruto's body for good. So therefore, he shouldn't be despairing like he currently is. So that leads me to believe that if their souls are intertwining, neither of them know about it. That's the most I can give on that.
The reason why Boruto felt like he was dying had little to do with Momoshiki, as we saw that Momoshiki basically gave up, but it had more to do with the fact that the karma wanted to go back to that state of homeostasis, where there is one body and one soul.
Oh yeah, so that does make sense.
Every time Boruto uses the karma, that process of merger is getting closer to being finalized. And that is what we saw, the biggest change in Boruto's personality, where he appeared quite different than the Boruto that we had seen in the past, with a little bit more Otsutsuki mannerisms, the trash talk that he has, the mannerism in which he behaves. We see different phrases that Boruto ends up using when he is fighting versus Code, the way he is. Obviously, fighting versus Code,
definitely more edgy,
basically led to Sasuke becoming a tree, does end up bringing a level of anger to him, but it was more than that.
So, I mean, this is just a whole personality change, and I guess he's trying to say that Boruto and Momoshiki's soul merging has made this possible. And I have to say, I mean, this is a possibility. Yes, it is. Because even if you mention more of the lighthearted moments that Boruto had in the series so far, like at the end of chapter 4, he was hugged up against the tree that absorbed Sasuke. He was sad in that moment. He was really feeling some type of way. Or even at the end of chapter 5, I think it was, when he went to go see Sarada. And then, you know, they hugged, they had their little moment. That was another lighthearted moment. And obviously, in chapter 24 at the end, it was a little silly moment where Kawaki stepped on Konohamaru's face and you could see Boruto's facial expression kind of like shocked or embarrassed. You know, that's a goof around Boruto-ish moment. But you could still say their souls are intertwined, because that's just Boruto's personality coming out. As you can see on the screen, this would be Momoshiki's personality. So if their souls are combined, this is what it would look like. A mixture of Boruto and Momoshiki's personality.
Which we do see Boruto being cocky, but not to this extent, especially not when he's fighting somebody serious. And we also see it when it comes to Kawaki. Obviously, we had a Boruto who acknowledged the fact that Kawaki had his reasons, and that it probably wasn't his fault and that he understood Kawaki. But after fighting versus Kawaki for the first time and knocking Kawaki out, the language that Boruto used is something that he wouldn't have used in the past, saying that Kawaki is pitiful. Haven't you trained at all?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Akin to Momoshiki.
I remember first reacting to that
phrase as pitiful, as Momoshiki is often the one who looks down at other people. And in that instance too, we did end up seeing Boruto's karma appear, which most likely meant that the merger was getting even closer to being finalized, where Boruto ended up escaping. And when he does end up coming back, you can also see the way he talks to Konohamaru. He looks down on people. That's the main thing that we do end up seeing that is different when it comes to Boruto then and Boruto.
So I'm guessing Boruto is still in full control over his body. It's just maybe Momoshiki's soul could be influencing Boruto to cause him to act more cocky, more edgy. And obviously in chapter 75, when their thoughts were merging, that can be an indication that it was happening back then, like he mentioned earlier in the video. But I mentioned in a video that I'm probably gonna upload today, so you're probably gonna see that video on the 25th and this video around the 27th or so. But in the video, my most recent video before this one, I mentioned that Boruto could be acting this way because of something that KASHIN KOJI told him. Like he mentioned back then, when Boruto was still with Sasuke, he was more happy, he was more upbeat. I mean, omnipotence was still going on, his life, you know, nothing really changed but him meeting Koji. But that change in Boruto's attitude could be a mixture of a lot of things. Like I said, something Koji told him could cause Boruto to be acting like this. I mean, yeah, the reason he's acting like this could be Sasuke. I mean, he's trying to save his master. He knows it's go time now. Like, it's no more playing around. It's no more time to be happy. He has to lock in. But also another reason could be because of 10 directions. Koji told Boruto specifically that there would be no future where he gets his family back. There wouldn't be no future where he gets his life back. The only way to save the planet is for him to sacrifice himself. By believing in Koji's visions, he came to the conclusion that he's probably gonna have to disappear when it's all said and done. And that's why he's acting like this. Because he knows the future. He knows about the sacrifice that he's gonna have to make. You know, that's my reason why he's acting like this. Obviously his is because of Boruto and Momoshiki merging personalities. I mean, it could be anything, but I think it's just a natural progression of Boruto's character as the stakes get higher and higher. And that all could lead to a personality change that you guys can see on the screen right here. Like, he's really just out of it. He's locked in. He's trying to save the planet.
Boruto does seemingly have this attitude of looking down at people. The way he talks to Konohama when fighting versus Hidari, he says, "I said focus, Konohama, or you'll die." Especially due to the fact that Konohama is older and in Boruto's eye is his sensei.
That was also crazy.
He still is looking down at Konohama, although we still do end up seeing the master.
I wouldn't say he's looking down on him though. It's more just like telling him to lock in, like, come on, get with the program.
Down at you. And I'm not saying to say that, oh, this is bad, but these were the simple hints that we were given. And in this chapter, especially after KASHIN KOJI posed the question to Boruto, asking if he ended up taking that deal.
Yeah, this is where it started.
And now he is deciding.
Well, not where it started, but this is where we really noticed.
It still shows that attitude of looking down at people. Boruto has this villainous aura while still maintaining that goodness about him. And this perfectly describes what this merger is supposed to be alike. It's supposed to be a combination of both Boruto and Momoshiki. So Boruto will still have traits that remain like Boruto, but he will now have on top of that traits of Momoshiki. And whether the merger took place
that's kind of tough.
And Boruto's merger is finalized where they have been essentially fused, almost like Goku and Vegeta having a fusion, leading to Vegito, I'm not necessarily sure if the merger did end up taking place to that extent, but that is the path that the story is going towards. And I believe that the merger is finally going to be completed when Boruto actually dies when using the karma. And this is not Momoshiki at all. This is the main point that was being stressed in the fact that we have a depressed Momoshiki that hasn't said things in years. And we also had a Momoshiki who echoed in the past that he didn't understand what was taking place with the merger. All of this ends up pointing to the fact that this is not something of Momoshiki's own plan. Everything that is happening right now regarding the karma has little to do with Momoshiki.
Yeah, like I said, if anything what's going on, Momoshiki does not know about it. I mean, it's kind of weird that he has all this knowledge on Shinjutsu, but when it comes down with him knowing what's going on with his own body and all that, he's really clueless. I mean, obviously, this is the first time we know of that Momoshiki is possessing a new vessel or trying to possess a new vessel. So, I mean, this could all be new to him as well. Like I said, Boruto's situation is an anomaly. It's probably never happened before. So obviously there's new learning opportunities when it comes to that. And this could be another example.
And this is where I believe that everything we saw in the previous arc has been setting this up. A different change that we're going to see in Boruto, and it's going to be manifested in his fighting style. We do know that Boruto's sword has been chipped, which means that we're not going to see Boruto use the sword anytime soon.
So we're going to see him throw some hands? That's what you're saying?
To get it fixed before then. So in the meanwhile, if something ends up happening, I do believe that we're going to see either...
I do think he's going to get that sword fixed ASAP though. Like, he better get that sword fixed. But despite whether this theory is true or not, I still think we're gonna see Boruto, throw some hands. Is he gonna try to fight JURA with the sword again? I don't know. Should he? Probably not. I mean, like you see on the screen, you see what JURA did to his sword just by blocking it. So you can't slice through that thick shell that JURA has on his finger. Next time you can completely break the sword and then that's it. Boruto's trained in Kenjutsu and regular hand-to-hand combat, so it shouldn't be a problem. That's how we started out fighting, and that's how I believe he probably got to fight JURA from now on. Which means we might see some more Shadow Clone Jutsu action, I don't know. But when Boruto fights hand to hand, he likes to use Shadow Clones, that's all I'm gonna say.
Boruto himself tap into Momoshiki's powers, or we're going to see Momoshiki take control of Boruto's body, but a likely outcome that we're going to see is almost the teaming up or the combination of Boruto and Momoshiki taking place.
Yeah, look at his face. He
There are
looks so
two options.
disgusted.
Either it is that when Boruto uses the karma, their merger is completely active, where Boruto and Momoshiki are 50-50, where like a fusion that happens in the past, they're basically both in control of the body. Then it would mean that Boruto, when he's not using the karma, he remains himself. Or we end up seeing something completely different, where regardless of whenever the karma is active or not, Boruto and Momoshiki remain 50-50.
Yeah.
And this is the scariest outcome, where we're probably going to see this more villainous aura that Boruto has being taken up. We see this parallel between Momoshiki and Boruto and that of Himawari and Kurama.
Yeah,
where
look
Kurama
at, he has a
and Himawari
lighthearted
have
moment,
become one.
another lighthearted moment
idea
right there.
is one that has
Looking
been
at his sister
showcased
smiling.
a lot. And we're seeing the idea of Boruto Tsubu Vortex, the Tsubu Vortex, the Vortex having a lot to deal with the Uzumakis, as we know that both Himawari and Boruto are Uzumakis. And those are the vortexes of destiny. It appeared from Momoshiki that it was Boruto's destiny for all of this to happen regarding omnipotence. And since we saw that Momoshiki had a role to play regarding omnipotence.
So yeah, I mean, this is a good theory. He has all the facts to back it up. Their thoughts are intertwined now, their memories, their battle experiences. The only reason Boruto can't really access all of it at will is because he can't use his karma. Once he's able to use his karma without the threat of Momoshiki just taking over his body, then we're going to see a lot more of abilities that Boruto can use now. A lot more of Momoshiki's abilities that he has access to, as well as in combination to his own abilities, like Rasendan. So that's basically all I wanted to cover. I feel like he more or less got his point across. The whole merger thing, primarily just being a combination of his and Momoshiki's personality. Like I said, this whole situation between Boruto and Momoshiki is an anomaly. It's never happened before. So some things that we just don't know of yet can probably be taking effect here. It will be revealed later what's really going on with Boruto's body, because obviously we don't know everything there is to know about it. Him being 100% Otsutsuki and still being in control of his body, there are some new things that we just haven't learned yet. So obviously we have to learn more about that when IKEMOTO wants us to know. But as it pertains to that, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Has Boruto and Momoshiki become one soul now? With personality change from Boruto and Momoshiki? How is that going to affect Boruto's fighting style and abilities once he activates his karma? Is it going to change it? Is it just going to magnify it? Is Boruto just going to pop out all of Momoshiki's abilities he used in the past? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. But I guess this is where I end the video. So remember, I'm going to leave the link to I Am Dynasty down below in the description. So make sure you guys go check him out. Excellent content creator. And if you liked the video and want to see more like this in the near future, make sure to drop that like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications so you get notified whenever I upload or go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'm gonna see y'all boys and girls later. And I'm out. Peace.